the colors. Platform ready, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Walray will deliver the invocation.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Navy shipmates, you are invited to join me as I pray. Good and gracious God, we are gathered to commission and present this ship to our nation for service in its behalf. LCS 5 represents the collective efforts of over 2,000 of your people, many right here in the state of Wisconsin, who pursue their vocation as stewards of your gifts, giving of their hands and minds to build ships. We ask your blessing upon them, this ship, and those generations of sailors who will serve in her. We thank and praise you for the city that is this ship's namesake, representing the generations of hard-working, industrious people living and working on the shore of Lake Michigan. May we, the people of Milwaukee, regularly hold this ship and her sailors in our prayers as they serve with honor, courage, and commitment to defend our freedom. May you grant a special blessing this hour on your servant, Commander Kendall Bridgewater, the captain of this vessel. He has shown himself to be a talented and trustworthy leader. May all who serve under him do so with faithful and loyal dedication to duty. Watch over their families in times of separation. Give courage and faith to meet the challenges that lie ahead. Preserve them from the dangers of the sea and the violence of the enemy whenever they may enter harm's way. To you alone we give all glory, honor, and praise. For I pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Will the guests please be seated? Ship's company, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Scott Walker, Governor of the state of Wisconsin. Good afternoon. Again, good afternoon. There, that'll warm us up a little bit. It is my honor.
This is recording, so go ahead and
all
hold it.
to the great state of Wisconsin.
Never mind, take my camera.
Welcome the crew of the USS Milwaukee.
And play with the batteries if you have to.
As you've heard, this is the 5th Navy vessel to bear the name of our state's largest city, but it is the first to be built by men and women from Wisconsin. Let's give a big round of applause for all our shipbuilders here in the great state. I want to start by acknowledging 2 special people from Wisconsin. Here we have with us 2 Medal of Honor recipients, Gary Wetzel and Kenneth Stupp, who are both Vietnam veterans. Can we give them a round of applause? We particularly begin by thanking them, but I look around this crowd and on the stage, and I know, like all of us here in the state, we want to thank all of our men and women in uniform, those serving today, and particularly to thank not only them, but their families, to thank all of our veterans, those who served in the past. Let's give all of them a big round of applause as well. And And a special note today, we've got all sorts of great veterans, but we've got a whole crew of World War II veterans. Would you give them all a warm welcome to the shores of Lake Michigan? Commander told me yesterday you had a World War II veteran who was 102, who was with his walker, who really picked it up and walked around this great vessel. That's the kind of tenacity of the men and women who've served our country and continue to serve today. It is an honor to be here, and I would ask the commanding officer, Commander Bridgewater, if you'd step forward. I've got a brief presentation. Back a century and a half ago, in 1863, in the middle of the Civil War, the service members from Wisconsin asked for something to remind them of their loved ones here in the great state of Wisconsin. In the midst of the Civil War, this state sent more than 91,000 to fight in the Civil War. At the time, that was 1 out of every 9 man, woman, or child. Today, in the service, it's about 1 out of 100. Then it was 1 out of every 9 man, woman, or child in this state was fighting in the Civil War. They asked for a flag. I have a flag from the state of Wisconsin, and I'm going to give it to you, for you and the crew, for 2 reasons. 1, to remember the incredible courage of men and women like those who a century and a half ago asked for that flag, not just from this state, but from states all across this great country. The courage they had then and the courage you and your crew continue to have today, we thank you for that. But just as we did back then in this state, also as a reminder that every day you set out on the seas, there will be men and women from Wisconsin, just like they did back then, praying for their service members, who will have each and every member of this crew in our thoughts and in our prayers for years to come. God be with you.
Thank you, Governor Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, Rear Admiral Brian Antonio, Program Executive Officer, Littoral Combat Ships.
Good afternoon. At this very moment, halfway around the world, the Milwaukee sister ship, USS Fort Worth LCS-3, is plying the waters of the South China Sea. Fort Worth sailors boldly and voluntarily stand the watch, providing presence critical to our Navy's mission and ensuring freedom of navigation for all who sail international waters. And in the not-too-distant future, that single LCS will be joined in the fleet by the vessel before us. USS Milwaukee followed Fort Worth through the Marinette Marine production line and will once again rejoin her sister ship, operating independently or with other ships as part of a surface action group. Like Fort Worth, Milwaukee represents the best of our nation and Navy. How appropriate it is that USS Milwaukee's motto is strength and freedom. Governor Walker, Senators, Representatives, Admiral Howard, Secretary Panetta, Secretary Winter, President of the Society of Sponsors, Mrs. Winter, distinguished guests and friends of LCS, welcome. And an especially warm welcome on this snowy Great Lakes day to our ship sponsor, Mrs. Panetta. As the program executive officer overseeing the design, construction, and delivery of these incredible warships, nothing is more gratifying than seeing another LCS coming to life and celebrating the efforts of thousands to make this day happen. It takes the contributions of our Navy and Lockheed Martin program managers and engineers, the shipbuilders of Fincantieri Marinette Marine, and their suppliers, the leadership of the growing number of LCS officers and sailors, proving day in and day out just what the LCS class can do. It takes the vision and support of elected officials, our senior military leaders, and every one of us as taxpayers. And most importantly, it takes the professionalism of the ship's crews and the spirit of our sponsor. Commander Bridgewater, Commander Ralston, Mrs. Panetta, congratulations to you on this Memorial Day, memorable day. So in summary, without these contributions, this vision, your support and professionalism, and the sponsor's guiding spirit, there is no USS Milwaukee. With every new LCS that joins the fleet, we make that not too distant future a reality. May God bless Milwaukee, her crew, our Navy, and our nation. Go Navy, go LCS.
Thank you, Admiral Antonio. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Stephanie Hill, Vice President, Ship and Aviation Systems, Lockheed Martin Mission Systems and Training.
Thank you so much, Commander Haney. And I'm going to wish you too a very toasty and warm welcome to all of you here today on this great snowy Navy day in the patriotic and energetic city of Milwaukee. On behalf of the Lockheed Martin Corporation, it is truly an honor to be part of today's inspirational ceremony as we commission the Navy's newest member of the fleet, USS Milwaukee. This is a warship that the residents of Milwaukee can be proud of, as it too will serve with distinction and honor. As others have noted throughout the weekend and today, this is the 5th naval ship to bear the Milwaukee name, with a rich history of ships dating back more than 150 years. It's a distinctive legacy that includes service in the Civil War, World War II, and Vietnam. We are proud to have this Freedom variant littoral combat ship continue that tradition of service and take it to new heights with technology and innovation. USS Milwaukee is flexible and will use interchangeable mission packages to face a variety of high priority assignments. USS Milwaukee is a versatile ship designed to transit shallow waters, as shallow as 14 feet, while going places and displaying the American flag where other ships cannot. And this ship is blazing fast. It can attain speeds of 40 knots or more. I suspect the crew, led by Commander Bridgewater, is already looking forward to what it can do in the open waters of the Atlantic and the Pacific. No speeding tickets, please, Captain. USS Milwaukee's 2 LCS predecessors, Freedom and Fort Worth, have already made their mark in demonstrating how important littoral combat ships are to the U.S. fleet. And I promise that the USS Milwaukee will serve with that same distinction, and that likewise it will embody the charm, character, and resolve of this city that we honor today. Commander Bridgewater, who will lead the USS Milwaukee on its first deployment, also commanded the USS Fort Worth as it made its way to Southeast Asia. So when USS Milwaukee leaves this city to begin its Navy life, we can all rest assured that it's in very capable hands. And just to our north, in Marinette, Wisconsin, Fincantieri Shipyard has 7 more littoral combat ships in various stages of construction. So on behalf of the entire Lockheed Martin-led LCS industry team, including our great partners at Fincantieri Marinette Marine, we are so proud to deliver this great ship to the crew who will soon bring it to life. So let me close by expressing my sincere appreciation to all of the superb men and women in our United States Navy for their courage, for their commitment, and for the sacrifices that they make every day so that we can all be safe. We are honored to serve you, and we are grateful for your trust in us to bring this magnificent ship to the Navy fleet. And to the good people of Milwaukee who have come out today for this great occasion, and the sturdy state of Wisconsin, much like yourselves, this wonderful ship will serve with pride, dedication, and resolve. And you can bet it will not back down in times of need. You can count on USS Milwaukee. It will not let you down. Thank you all. God bless the crew, and God bless America.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Thomas Barrett, Mayor, City of Milwaukee.
Well, Milwaukee, welcome to Milwaukee. We are delighted to have you here. To all the guests on the dais, to Mrs. Panetta, thank you for being here. To all of you, thank you for coming to this great occasion. This is a wonderful day for our city. It's a wonderful day for the Navy. It's a wonderful day for our country. And I want to thank all those men and women who serve in our forces and have served in our armed forces for your bravery and your patriotism. From the citizens of the city of Milwaukee, we give our heartfelt thanks. Now, I'm not a naval historian, so I can't say this with certainty, but I would be shocked if there was another ship that was named after a city in a state, that was commissioned in that very city, and it was made in that very state. I gotta believe this is a first for our Navy, and I couldn't be prouder. Thank you for having Milwaukee here in Milwaukee. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for our community. A number of people here have said to me, wow, this is a great turnout. And my response is, this is what Milwaukee's all about. This is what Wisconsin's all about. We're hardy, we're tough, just like this ship. And this ship symbolizes what we're all about. It symbolizes what this great city is all about. Going back to the 1840s, this city has had its ups and downs. But what it has always done is the city of Milwaukee has always fought back. It's a gritty city, it's a tough city, it's a determined city, it's a city that loves our nation. And that's why this ship, which will be a tough ship, a gritty ship, a ship that fights back, and a ship that loves our nation, is bearing the right name at the right time. You should all know that there are more good things going on in the city of Milwaukee than in any city in this state. And the reason for that is we keep working and working and working. And again, that is the value that I think is embodied by the United States Navy and will be really demonstrated on this great ship. So all the men and women who will be serving on this ship, I couldn't be prouder to hand it over to you, to say thank you for representing our country and thank you for representing our city. And now I've been waiting to put my hat on because I'm so excited to have Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Thank you for being here today. It's a great day.
Thank you, Mayor Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Gwen Moore, United States Representative, 4th District, State of Wisconsin.
Giving honor to our great God, to our governor, to Mrs. Panetta, our sponsor, all of the men and women who are active in our military, to all of our veterans, certainly to the crew of this yet-to-be-born ship. Welcome to a great place with a great lake, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee is the place where the USS Freedom was commissioned, and now we are so proud to bring to life this ship on the shores of a great lake, Great Michigan, a place where this ship will dance on the Great Lakes to begin its great mission of preserving and protecting the rights of all Americans. And so I would leave this crew with this simple, sincere blessing from all of us, that may you all who sail on this ship sail on her fair winds and following seas as the pride of Milwaukee and the jewel of the Navy as you travel the globe. Bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Congressman Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Ron Johnson, United States Senator, State of Wisconsin.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's an honor and privilege to be here this afternoon. A couple months ago, I also had the honor and privilege to accompany Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson to a memorial service in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It was a sobering and memorable day, but two things really stood out. First was an exhibit in the exhibitor center, in the visitor center, that had just been opened the day before. The exhibit had telephones, and when you picked up the handset, you listened to 3 voicemail messages from 3 women, 3 passengers. And what was exceptional about it is these 3 Americans were not worried about themselves. They were worried about the pain their family members would experience when they finally heard the news. What else was very memorable was just in the speeches, the story of United Flight 93. Now we all know the iconic, the famous words uttered by Todd Beamer, "Let's roll." What I was reminded of those just minutes before he uttered those famous words, the passengers of United Flight 93 did something quintessentially American. They took a vote. Now, those of us that are old enough to remember, we all know where we were and what we were doing on 9/11. There are 2 phrases that were uttered repeatedly on that day, and the days, weeks, months, and years afterwards. The first was, "This changes everything." The second one was, we will never forget. Now, unfortunately, we tend to forget. Today we are here commissioning the USS Milwaukee. I couldn't get the exact number, but it's somewhere around 280 of an active ship fleet. In 1960, our fleet was 812. In 1990, our fleet numbered 570. Today we're less than half of that. The events of 9/11, the attack in Fort Hood, Texas, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in just the last 3 weeks, the Russian airliner that was blown out of the sky over Egypt, the bombings in Beirut, the terrorist attack in Paris, and just yesterday in Mali, remind us all that Islamic terrorists declared war on the civilized world over 2 decades ago. The question is, will we rise to the challenge? The question is, who will lead the effort? Unfortunately, nobody yet has answered that call, but the answer is obvious. There's only one nation that can answer that call, that is America. And that is what is represented here today at this commissioning. So to all those who made this commissioning possible, to the American taxpayer, to the shipbuilders, to the commander, the officers and crew of the USS Milwaukee, congratulations on this day of celebration. To all who have proudly worn, who are currently wearing, and who will someday wear the uniform of the military of the United States of America, you are the finest among us. Because of the very real and growing threats that face this nation, you will be called upon again. And a grateful nation knows you will answer that call. A grateful nation also thanks you sincerely for your service and sacrifice. May God bless you and protect you. And And may God bless and protect the greatest nation in the history of mankind, America. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Michelle Howard, Vice Chief of Naval Operations.
Good afternoon, Governor Walker, Mayor Barnett, Senator Johnson, Senator Baldwin, Congresswoman Moore, Congressman Rybel, Secretary, Mrs. and Judge Panetta, and the Panetta family. And in my case, I have two mentors out there, Secretary and Mrs. Linda Winter, and many, many, many honored guests. It is my privilege to be here this afternoon in the great city of Milwaukee. Thank you. Solomon Juneau, George Walker, and Byron Kilbourne are considered the founders of Milwaukee. As traders and land surveyors, they realized the strategic importance of this part of the country. Transportation and commerce would thrive with waterways like the Milwaukee River and Lake Michigan. With the successful growth of each of their villages, the leaders eventually realized the strength and freedoms that come with uniting a city. Together they formed Milwaukee in 1846. Now, Benjamin Franklin once wrote, "Where liberty dwells, there is my country." And in the early 1800s, liberty thrived in early Milwaukee. Liberties which brought opportunities for new communities in Wisconsin's first city. And it was those liberties or freedoms that were cultivated by the strength and fortitude of Milwaukee's early founders. But when I hear those words, "Where liberty dwells, there is my country," I like to say, "Where freedom reigns, there is the United States Navy." It is fitting then that the motto for USS Milwaukee should be strength and freedom. The Navy's projection of strength through vessels like Milwaukee ensures freedom of the seas. Strength and freedom epitomizes the devotion and spirit of the city of Milwaukee, but is also emblematic of United States sailors who will take this ship to the fight. It is emblematic of those sailors who honorably served on the first 4 ships to bear the proud Milwaukee name. And it is emblematic of those sailors serving in the fleet today. Sailors like Rear Admiral Brian Luther, a graduate of Marquette University, who now commands the 7,500 sailors manning the ships and aircraft that compromised the George Herbert Walker Bush Carrier Strike Group. Admiral Luther's strike group will deploy around the globe, projecting strength and promoting freedom of the seas. And in August of 2014, that same carrier strike group was in the Arabian Gulf, conducting strikes against ISIS. And for 54 straight days, it was the only coalition strike option to project power, executing 20 to 30 combat sorties a day. Deployments of carrier strike groups and other Navy units are particularly important to the defense of our nation. 70% of the world is covered by water. 80% of the world lives at or near the coast, and 90% of the world's trade travels by sea. Our livelihood depends on the unimpeded flow of commerce and information. Forward deployed littoral combat ships provide persistent presence in places that matter and ensure freedom in the maritime global commons. And in January of this year, USS Fort Worth, along with an embarked helicopter detachment, reported to the Java Sea to assist in the Indonesian-led effort for the missing Air Asia flight. And it was her maneuverability that allowed her to search a highly congested environment. And her sister ship, the USS Milwaukee, is perfectly suited for service around the globe. She has speed, she's got a shallow draft, and she has mission packages. and she will be assigned a forward station where she can remain engaged with our international partners. But the lifeblood of USS Milwaukee is her highly skilled team of warriors. Soon we will commission this ship, and when we do, United States sailors will bring her to life, and as the founding fathers of the city of Milwaukee did, future commanding officers will learn Milwaukee's full potential and will lead and cultivate the strength of her people, her crew. They will lead sailors who bring the inherent strength of Wisconsin. Sailors like Culinary Specialist Class Gerald Legay from Superior, Wisconsin, and Electric Mate Second Class Chang Lee, whose family is from Appleton, Wisconsin. This crew will soon be standing the watch, fulfilling our Navy's long-standing mandate to be where it matters, when it matters. And so for today, for Milwaukee's crew, Wisconsin citizens, and all that follow, I wish you fair winds and following seas. May God bless this ship, and God bless all of those who are our strength and freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral Howard. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Allison Stiller, Principal Civilian Deputy, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Research, Development, and Acquisition.
Thank you, EXO. Distinguished platform guests, Secretary Panetta, Society of Sponsors President Linda Winter, and Secretary Winter, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here representing Secretary of the Navy Ray Mavis at the commissioning of this great littoral combat ship, Milwaukee. I'd especially like to thank Dirk Debink and the entire Milwaukee Commissioning Committee who have worked so hard to arrange this event. Today, we think fondly of our friend Joe Hanna, who helped our Navy commission over 120 ships into service. This is our first surface ship commissioning without Joe, but we know he is smiling on us from above. Thanks for the snow, Joe. And here in Veterans Park, it is appropriate that we thank the thousands of sailors, Marines, soldiers, and airmen who are sacrificing so much to keep this great nation free. And to those veterans in the audience, thank you for your service. To the men and women of Fincantieri Marinette Marine, Lockheed Martin, and the Navy Program Office team, thank you for constructing this fine warship. Milwaukee is a shining example of our nation's drive for technological excellence and honors the memory of the first warships and their crews who proudly served our nation under the namesake Milwaukee. We commission the newest USS Milwaukee today to continue this proud heritage. While her future missions are unknown, we do know that the capabilities that USS Milwaukee brings us are the finest in the world. We likewise honor the proud city of Milwaukee, whose legacy as an industrial and manufacturing center throughout history has provided a strong example of the American work ethic. Just as Milwaukee grew from small lakeshore settlements to emerge as an important manufacturing center, LCS-5 has transitioned into a versatile, agile, and powerful warship ready to serve. Our Navy and our nation have the proud people of Wisconsin, from Marinette to Milwaukee, to thank you for bringing this ship to life. While this ship will call San Diego home, ya betcha, the spirit of Milwaukee will remain with it. In addition to the spirit of her namesake city, the ship is blessed with the spirit of her sponsor, Mrs. Sylvia Panetta. Mrs. Panetta, thank you for bestowing your grace on USS Milwaukee, and thank you for your service to our men and women in uniform. Commanders Bridgewater and Ralston, congratulations to you and your crews as you sail forth. Embrace your namesake and be prepared to protect freedom with strength. I know you will make Mrs. Panetta and the entire state of Wisconsin proud of you every step of the way. To all here today, we are indeed privileged to witness this introduction of this fine ship into our Navy. May God bless her, her crew, and her sponsor, and may God bless America. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our principal speaker, Senator Tammy Baldwin. Senator Baldwin was elected in 2012 and is Wisconsin's first woman to serve in the United States Senate. She serves on the Senate Committee for Appropriations, Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, the Senate Budget Committee, and the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. In her quest to build a made-in-Wisconsin economy, she's focused on investments in research, science, innovation, technology, and advanced manufacturing. These are precisely the skills that are needed when building our Navy warships, such as LCS-5. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming home Senator Baldwin.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Allison, for that kind introduction. And before I turn to my remarks, I wanted to begin with a very special communication, a letter that I wish to share with you from the White House that was addressed to Jan Allman, CEO of Marinette Marine. I send greetings to all those gathered for the commissioning of the USS Milwaukee on November 21st. This historic ceremony signifies the acceptance of a ship into the active fleet of the United States Navy. The commanding officer, together with the officers and crew, accepts the responsibility of ensuring the ship is ready for any service required to defend our nation. We are proud to commission the USS Milwaukee, a powerful symbol of American ingenuity and innovation. This ship represents the finest in 21st century technology. Built from over 1,000 tons of aluminum and 2,000 tons of steel, it stands as the result of extraordinary collaboration, resolve, and dedication to a shared mission. Embodying the character of the great American city for which she was named, the USS Milwaukee reminds us that our country is strongest when we endeavor alongside one another to realize a brighter future. As we stay true to the common purpose that has guided our armed forces, this vessel reflects our belief that there can be no feat too great and no mission too hard and no achievement beyond our country's reach. Michelle and I send our best wishes on this special occasion. May God bless and protect all those who serve, and may God bless the United States of America. Signed, Barack Obama. Again, welcome to everyone to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I also wanted to personally welcome Sylvia Panetta, our ship sponsor. It is only fitting that a family that has given so much to public service in our great nation is bestowed this honor. Thanks to you and to Leon for your life's work and commitment to strengthening America for future generations. It is such a special day, and I couldn't be more honored to join you here at Milwaukee County's Veteran Park in a great city on a great lake for the commissioning of the USS Milwaukee. I have the great pleasure of serving the state of Wisconsin, a state where we have a long and proud tradition of making things. Many of you are familiar with our cheese, our brats, and our beer. But in Wisconsin, we possess one of the largest manufacturing sectors in the nation, where we also make paper, engines, tools, bikes, and ships. We have a work ethic that is second to none, and we take great pride in our made in Wisconsin economy. In the case of Wisconsin's shipbuilding industry, our workers have also helped sustain America's security for generations, boasting a successful history of building ships for our nation's defense, a proud tradition that now includes the USS Milwaukee, the Navy's newest littoral combat ship, and the third to be built in our state. I take such great pride in joining all of you today because the traditional commissioning ceremony marks a special milestone in the life of a Navy ship. Today, the U.S. Navy formally takes possession of the USS Milwaukee as it enters the active fleet. In this case, today's commissioning represents the gift of Wisconsin hard work being passed on to the U.S. Navy and its sailors, who in turn give the gift of brave service to our nation every day. Like all of our military services, the Navy is at its best when the bond that it shares with the American people is at its strongest, when the support the Navy receives from American communities is at its broadest. Looking out at the audience today, who are gladly braving this mild Wisconsin weather to support our men and women in uniform, I have no doubt that that is the case of this state and this city. The bond is plenty strong and the support is plenty broad. It says to the men and women of the U.S. Navy, and particularly the command and crew of the USS Milwaukee's Crew 104 and Crew 108, you have our support. And that's why it is especially fitting and exciting that the USS Milwaukee is the only naval ship to date to be commissioned in her namesake city, in the state she was built, among the people who built her. Now that is a bond. Over the past 3 years, I have been so proud to work across party lines in the United States Senate and fight for the Littoral Combat Ship Program. Today, as we celebrate what will be the fastest and most versatile LCS ship ever, as she defends our nation and supports our allies around the world. USS Milwaukee is a vastly advanced warship incorporating improvements based on the experience of her predecessors, complete automation, and the latest technologies. In her role, this proud ship that bears Milwaukee's name places Wisconsin at the pinnacle of the new fleet of warships that will carry out our nation's future maritime strategy, defending our nation and defending our values. I am extremely proud to represent the talented Wisconsin workers who built the LCS ships and to support the dedicated men and women of the United States military. The LCS is not only essential to America's national security, it is also a critical part of our state's economy. During my time in the United States Senate, I have fought for this important defense program because it employs thousands of hardworking Wisconsinites and positively impacts communities across our state. supporting Wisconsin jobs, and nearly 100 Wisconsin companies supplying parts to build ships at Marinette Marine. From the earliest planning days to successful construction and completion, this ship is a testament to the hard work and pride that Wisconsin workers bring to every job that they set out to do. Our nation's security and prosperity are strengthened with the addition of this ship to the Navy's surface fleet. On behalf of the people of the great state of Wisconsin, I wish all the officers and crews of the USS Milwaukee fair winds and following seas, and thank you for your dedicated service to our nation. It is truly an honor to join all of you today as this ship moves forward, defending the freedoms we all cherish, carrying the Made in Wisconsin brand worldwide. Wherever the USS Milwaukee takes our American flag, she will be a symbol of America's strengths, both the strength of our workers and the strength of our U.S. Navy, who now assume command of this ship, boldly serving a nation that we are blessed to call home. Thank you.